Hello and welcome to Suite 301. We're live from Pittsburgh, PA. Notice we're not in our homes this year, or this show this year. It feels like it's been a year. We're back here in the office. Good to see you, Christian.
Good to see you.
And we're here to give you all the updates that there are around the Colt Club Sports League. So appreciate you tuning in. You can watch all our broadcasts on our Suite 301 pages on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for the latest news and media. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel for videos from all around our leagues and to watch previous episodes of Suite 301.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Well, it's good to, here, hopefully wherever you are tuning in, things are slightly returning to normal for you. We've been in green phase for a week now.
Yep.
And it's good to be able to have you gotten to go to a restaurant yet?
No, I haven't sat down and ate yet.
Right.
But that's
done the takeout.
Yes, we've done the takeout plenty of times.
We have not made it out to a sit down yet, but we've done the takeout, and we're looking forward to maybe this weekend getting to go out and enjoy a Pittsburgh restaurant.
Absolutely.
So. Well, let's move on. Let's start off with some softball action. I think we have Savannah Aarons here available. There's Savannah. Savannah, how are things out there in Colorado?
Things are going well. We actually went to our first sit-down restaurant this past Sunday, so we went out for breakfast. It was kind of surreal.
Absolutely. Where did you go?
The original Pancake House.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Well, good for you. Glad things are starting to open up out there in the Denver area, at Fort Collins, I guess, for you. We got some exciting stuff going on with softball right now to talk about, including a special guest we're going to have here shortly. But why don't you give us an update on the league, what's going on? I know you had the league meeting and the voting not too long ago.
Yeah, so we had our league meeting back on Tuesday, May 19th. It was our very first ever virtual league meeting. And it actually went really well. It was nice to be able to see so many faces, to be able to see the teams, and we had some great chats back and forth about the league. We talked about this past season, 2019-2020, and the outlook for 2020-2021. One thing that stands out to me was our talk about fundraising. We actually had a ton of back and forth and comments from numerous team reps on like what they do specifically for fundraising. So what we did is we took all those notes from that fundraising portion of the meeting and we put them all in one document and we sent that out. So each team, you should have received that fundraising document. It's great. It talked about what we offer, from the NCSA standpoint with our partnership with Fundraiser. And then it also talked about what each individual teams are doing, stuff that we had never even thought about. So we were really excited to be able to put that together from the league meeting. Some great conversation there. And then we had some stuff come up, for rule changes. There were 3 different things that got approved to be on the ballot, which are the roster increase from 25 to 28 players, pushing back the season start date, pushing it up actually from September 15th to September 1st, and then adding time limits for regular season games, which would include conference and non-conference during the regular season.
Now, are those items that teams are voting upon right now, or is the vote concluded?
Yes, so those are items that the teams are currently voting on. That ballot is still open through next Thursday, June 18th. We've already got over 50 teams who've completed that ballot, so thank you for those teams that have done that. There are several of the rules that are kind of teetering back and forth, so if you have abstained from a specific question, maybe rethink actually putting in a vote, because every vote counts. So we just want to make sure this is your opportunity to have your voice heard.
Do you feel the success of this meeting, obviously it went online this year because of the COVID-19 shutting down the national championship, the World Series. Do you foresee this as something that might be a change for the future of always doing it as an online meeting, or do you hope if things return to normal, we have the World Series in 21, that you'll go back to the brick and mortar meeting?
I mean, I think that there's a lot of benefit to having an in-person meeting, but there's also a lot of benefit for the fact that there were more teams that had the opportunity to be involved in this meeting. So, a team that may have not been able to, come be in person to the meeting in Columbus, Georgia, it was nice to be able to hear those people's points of view. So and I think it went really well. Everybody was so respectful. And we had some great conversation back and forth. Even if there were disagreements, everyone respected everybody's points of view. So we were really happy with the way that went.
That's great.
Good.
That's great. Well, next, let's move on to the All-Americans. Yes, Christian's eager to talk about the All-Americans, which were released since our last show. Why don't you run us through that list a little bit? I think we have a slide up there. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah. So this year we've had the most nominations we've ever had, which was great. We've had the most teams upload stats that we've ever had. So that's just a testament to the league and how it's growing. And there are 36 players listed on this All-Americans list. These are the first team All-Americans that you'll see here. And then, so of those 36 players, there were 22 different teams represented, and all 8 regions had at least one player represented. So it's just a testament as to, the competitiveness of the league, like overall. It's not just dominated by one specific region of the country. So that was really exciting to see because, when we select the All-Americans, all the names and school names and things like that are taken away. It's purely numbers. So, and then when it comes out that it's all across the board, all 8 regions are represented, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's like an old-fashioned one of those tryouts where they give you a number when you show up. They evaluate as a person. You don't know who you are. And at the end, you reveal, okay, number 13 is actually so-and-so from
Right.
so-and-so school. So, yeah, when it's literally just a selection of statistics. And, I know we had the second team listed up there. I want to give a shout-out to a familiar name in my world, Bailey McClure, second-team All-American catcher out of Northwestern. There's Bailey up there on the screen right now. Bailey is the president of Northwestern's women's club basketball team as well. So I didn't even realize she was competing on the softball stage as well, and such a high level too. So that's just one of my personal shout-outs there.
Yeah, the first thing I noticed was, you mentioned it, Savannah, the amount of different teams making up first, second, and third team. It does show that the parity within the league, that it isn't one team or one region, but it is across the board. So that's showing good things for the league for sure.
And I love that the teams are buying in, putting more teams nominating, more players getting looked at, and more stats being incorporated. That's really a sign of the teams investing more into the league, and that's great. That's great there. So one of the other things I noticed, Savannah, on this list, which will be a great segue to our next part, is I see looks like seven All-Americans coming out of Northern Arizona University.
Quite a few of those from Northern Arizona University, and I think big props to their president, who's we're about to be speaking to here shortly. She's a reason why that team is where they are. They owe a lot to her. She's been an officer since 2017, and they have made strides. That team is fierce. They, again, so sad that our season was cut short due to COVID, but there's no telling, if they would have made postseason this year. That would have been exciting to see. They actually were able to compete in the Peach State Fall Classic last fall for the first time. So that was really exciting to be able to see them actually on the field in person. They're definitely legit.
And just to point out to everybody, we're talking about Northern Arizona coming to Georgia for a fall invitational tournament.
Yup.
I couldn't. When you told me that this fall, I thought that maybe I misread something there. But all right. Well, let's before we've got Michaela Key, that we're going to bring her on. But before we do, why don't you introduce? Along with All-Americans, there was a new postseason award indoctrinated this year. Why don't you talk to us about that process and lead into the introduction?
Yeah. So with teams being more invested, right? More teams are adding stats. More teams are sending in their nominations for All-American awards. It came up like, hey, we might have some players that contribute more than just on the field, like with their stats. They're a part of this team, and they mean something more to this team than just the stats. So that's where the idea for the NCSA Sportsmanship Award was kind of born, and we loved it. Like being able to recognize players that are doing amazing things, not only within their team but in their community, and for our league is so huge. So we wanted to, and we got a great showing. I don't know if you guys got the graphic for everybody that was nominated or not, but that was posted as well. We honored all of the nominees that got nominated before we announced the winner. So this was the very first year for it. We had a great turnout of testimonials that were submitted for players, again, spanning all across all regions. So we got a good look at like who those people are across the country, making a difference.
How was the selection done? Like, how did you guys figure?
Great. So we sent out,
nominations.
We asked for testimonials to be received, and you got 500 words to talk about this specific player or a team. Like, for instance, SUNY Buffalo nominated all of their seniors because of the contributions they've made as a whole to their team. So that was really cool. Props to them. So we then had a panel of NCSA regional directors, past coaches, people that are super involved in the league. And they basically ranked their top 3, 1 through 3. And that's how we got settled on Michaela, who was a pretty unanimous decision.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, without further ado, why don't we welcome Michaela Keith to the show? There she is.
Hi.
Hi, Michaela. Welcome to Suite 301, and congratulations on your award.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Somehow we managed to lose Savannah in this process. I don't see her. Savannah, are you still there?
I'm still here. I can hear you guys.
Okay, there we go. Well, hey, I just want to start Savannah and Michaela for congratulate you on this award. Savannah put this together as a first time award that's postseason award that's probably going to last for many years down the future. But what's it mean to you to win such an accolade and to have someone write? Have you read the testimonial that was written about you?
Yeah. No, it was amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's an amazing read, and no wonder you won after these kind of words. What did it mean to you to have someone from your team think that highly of your efforts?
Oh, it was awesome. And just to be here for all 4 years, and I was treasurer my first year and vice president my second year, and then president the last 2 years, and to see the work and come to fruition for, like Savannah said, we got to go to our first tournament in Georgia, which was really fun, especially a lot of our girls hadn't ever gone on a plane before. So it was really cool, and I finally got to meet Savannah. I've been emailing her back and forth for 4 years, and I finally actually got to put a face to the name, so that was really awesome. And just this year was just a bunch of crazy firsts for us, and it was so much fun. My family is actually in Georgia, so they got to watch me play softball for the first time. They actually drove 6 hours to come watch our team play, so it was awesome.
Well, that is really exciting stuff. I'll tell you what, I had highlighted some in your testimonial. There were a few things that stood out to me. One of the things you did with community involvement is you host youth softball skills clinics to get the grassroots get young girls out there wanting to play softball. Talk to us how you came up with that idea and how successful it was.
Well, we always wanted to do it. That was a big thing that our girls had always mentioned they really wanted to do, was kind of give back to the younger girls and be able to teach girls things that they had wanted to know at that stage in their life and those kind of things, and play games with them and have fun and just be more involved in our community. And we had one my first year, and only one little girl showed up. And so when we finally got a coach our second year, who's Tommy Hernandez, he has a lot of connections and was able to spread the word. And we ended up having like over 100 girls come to our first annual one. And then it ended up being just an annual thing that people were emailing him asking like, hey, are you still doing it? Like, we're so excited. And the girls were so excited. And we always just had a really fun time hanging out with these little girls. And it's crazy because you just think like, I'm just me, like I'm just going to school and they look up to you and it's crazy.
Did you just say you went from one girl in attendance to 100?
Yeah.
Well, that's some impressive recruiting right there.
Yeah, our coach is really good with getting people to come.
And Michaela, it also seems like you have family in Southern California, is that right?
Yeah, that's where I actually live, yeah.
So you got your family's involved too, heavily with the team and helping them with rides and housing and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we normally leave Thursdays from Flagstaff, and then we come to my house because I'm kind of in the middle of all the California teams we play. So we stay at my house, and then my parents do all the meals all weekend, do lunch in between games and everything, and they love it. They're empty nesters now, so they love having all the girls come over and hang out for a little bit.
Well, that's awesome that your parents are, willing and able to put that time in to help build the team as well. But that's helping to build memories that last forever. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for contributing over there at NAU. Sev, anything you want to add over there?
Just congrats, Michaela. Like it is so amazing to be able to see you grow as a person. Like, and we actually finally got to meet in person. So we've just been kind of like text buddies for 4 years, but just to see you grow as a person and like grow this team to where it is, like you guys are competitors now. And I hope that they can carry on that spirit that you've instilled in them. Just little things, even talking about the pregame ritual that you've instilled in them, like that's so important. Like they'll never forget that, and that's a piece of you that they'll always have. And I love that you're the first person to be able to represent us with this award because you're kind of the epitome of this type of person. So we'll always be able to go back and be like, oh yeah, this person's just like Michaela. Yep, great sportsmanship award winner. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your team. And we wish you the best of luck. If you want to stay on with the NCSA, we'll always have you. I've got volunteer things for you to do.
Oh, for sure. No, it was awesome being able to be the first one. And you almost made me cry talking about all the stuff from earlier in the show. And it was so awesome to be able to meet you, Savannah. And thank you for everything you've done for us and our team and me personally this year and answering all my questions and all the 4 years.
It's fun. I'm sad.
All right. Well.
Are you guys waiting for us to cry?
No. Should we? All right. Maybe we should move along. Michaela, it's so nice to meet you. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll. This isn't the last we've heard of you or the NAU team. Congratulations on a great season and a great career. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. Sav, are you okay, Sav? You need a Kleenex break? All right.
Mom tears.
All right. Well, Savannah, let's wrap things up on the softball side with some housekeeping items. What do you want to discuss there that team should be focused on?
Yes, June 30th, we've extended the deadline for the renewal and for you guys to be eligible for your credits from this past season. June 30th is a hard deadline if you're wishing to secure that credit for the upcoming season, making sure that you have that fully signed LPA. That's your signature, the team officer signature, and then a faculty representative signature. Teams will still be able to renew after June 30th, but the credit at that point will no longer be available. So that's a big one for you guys. And your registration forms, we've gotten the majority of those in, but to update your new officer contact information, please get those in as well.
All right. Well, Savs, thanks so much for your contributions to the the show today, and we'll see you next month on the next Sweet 301.
Sweet. Bye, guys.
All right.
See
See
ya.
ya, Savannah. All right. What's next, Christian? What do you want to do? Where should we go? Should we roll the dice? Football, basketball?
we got. We're set. We're going baseball. Let's go
we're saying-
baseball.
Okay, let's go baseball.
Let's talk
right.
NCBA, National Club Baseball Association.
Who should we bring to the set?
Eric.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
There he is.
That's a tough act to follow.
It is. They got emotional there. It was nice.
Shout
That's
out
good
to
stuff.
Savannah, NCSA, and NAU softball. That's
and,
awesome.
and Michaela, and Michaela's parents. How about that?
All the above. Yeah, it's crazy.
Next time I find myself in Southern California, I might have to see if they'll cook me a meal and
How's
give me
you?
a place to stay. But that's good stuff. So, well, hey, Eric, on the baseball side, with no World Series, you kind of led the charge of what are we going to do World Series time to keep people excited about club baseball, and you came up with this. What do we call it? Bracketology, all-time best moments bracket.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it perfectly. We didn't have a World Series this year. It was weird. We wanted to keep people engaged, keep people, in tune with the NCBA and things we do, and kind of just relive the past. And it's an idea that we've been shopping around with each other for a month or two, and started getting the wheels turning a little bit, and start kicking around the ideas and moments, performances, best teams, what should we do. And, we picked your brain, Christian's brain, my brain, Ryan Norris, your dad, Rob DiOrio, and we came up with 92 entries to start off with, some of the best moments, best performances of all time, 19 years.
92 entries.
19 years of World Series.
And you can find all of this online. You can find
on the
Right.
NCBA Twitter, our websites, Facebook, all social media.
Now, you narrowed it down to what, 30?
We went from 92 to 32, and within that 32, we had 24 total teams
Okay.
were represented.
Well, let me ask you, 92. What was the first one that didn't make the cut?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
And who was if there was a play-in game, who would have been number 33?
After talking to Bill Lippert, I do have to give him a shout out for that Wyoming-Penn State game, Division II out in Johnstown.
Johnstown in the rain. Oh,
Yeah, I think it would have done quite well, especially with the game that did win, which we'll talk about later. It was kind of similar circumstances, but it was tough. 92 to 32.
You did an excellent job.
it was great.
It seemed like teams were really invested. Do you know how many votes
Yeah,
were?
I got some statistics right here.
Go ahead,
So,
Eric.
6,200 votes, total votes,
'Kay.
throughout the entire week. The most voted on matchup was our semifinal with Wisconsin, and their 13-inning game back in 2014 in Tampa. And then Fitzgerald's walk-off in 2017, I believe, Penn State.
18.
17 or 18.
18.
Might have been 18.
19 was Illinois. 18 was Penn
Yes,
State.
18.
Sure. So that walk-off, it had 877 votes. Twitter tracks the impressions, how many times people see that tweet. It got 17,000, which was kind of cool. And then another cool thing I saw was both of our semifinals, they were both within 10 votes of each other. So Wisconsin beat Fitzgerald by 1%, and Cam Cole took down Tanner Duncan within 1% as well. It was a 9-vote difference on that one. So
Wow.
Every
Crazy.
vote counts.
every
Every
vote
vote counts.
Wow.
Well, that's cool. I'll tell you what, man. It was fun. I don't even know how to use Twitter, and I've managed to find a way to scrape myself along and track what was going on. So it was a good
cool.
time.
You see a lot of people sharing it. You see families starting to follow us. You see, I think Logan August, who we'll talk about in a little bit, his dad's a former MLB pitcher for the Brewers. He was sharing it. He had people coming on. Penn State had a real nice following. Adrian College, who won our first Division III World Series back in 18. All their sports teams were sharing it. They almost beat Tanner Duncan in the second round, which is arguably perhaps the best performance ever in NCBA World Series history. So, yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to follow along. I know people were getting into it. So.
And I love how when you put up the completed bracket, how you listed like the voting percentages. So you can see, how close some of these votes came down to. Not a whole lot of landslides anywhere, really.
No, it was very cool.
Yeah,
We had everything
so.
from, past Derby champs to MVPs to
And-
walk-off winners.
And what I liked, what it was that you called it best moments, because it's not best athletic performances or most memorable moment. It's
Best
just
game, which we got a lot of,
everybody
too.
who voted got to what's their definition of a best moment.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to memorable, I'm going to be honest with you. One of the most impressive things, it's not even impressive. The craziest things I've ever seen was that Utah State Texas Tech play.
On the walk-off.
The walk-off Utah State over Texas Tech. But, was that a dominating performance? No. It was just the most memorable in my head. But because it was just like I could tell that story over and over again. It was so unique and different. But all right, well, talk to us about the winners.
Yeah, so the winning team, Wisconsin, 13-inning thriller down in Tampa, 2014 World Series.
There you go.
Yeah, you guys can read all about it there. It was a crazy day, to say the least. Game 1 started at 11 a.m., had about 3 or 4 rain delays throughout the day, and their game started at 11:30 or so that night and didn't end until 3:10 in the morning, I believe. And it was just a crazy back-and-forth game, 13 innings. Wisconsin had a pitcher, Logan August, through the last 7 1/3 innings. I think he only gave up 1 hit, no runs. He's got quite the story to tell. Hopefully Jeff will get into it a little bit, but yeah, it was just an all-time great game.
All right, well, without further ado, let's bring Jeff Block, head coach of Wisconsin Badgers, on the show. Jeff, you there?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing great. How are you
Coach.
doing?
Good. It's good to see you guys again.
Absolutely. Missed you around the ball yard this Memorial Day.
Absolutely.
How are things back there? You're based out of Madison, right? That's where you live?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Doing a
live
lot of
here in
working
Madison,
from home now?
Wisconsin.
Still working from home?
I do. My full-time job is it's a mouthful. Electronic medical record software, basically software for hospitals. So I do a lot of remote work anyway. So that part hasn't been a huge adjustment for me. So that's been something I've already been used to. My girlfriend, she has been working on the COVID unit at the hospital here in Meriter Hospital in UW. So that's been a little bit of a life change for us and a little extra stresses, and not having that baseball as your relief and your go-to to keep you sane is interesting, but we're excited to get back at it this fall.
Good stuff. Well, talk to us. Yeah, talk to us about this game, and I loved how you took the marketing put the marketing monkey on your back and went out there, and I think you were paying people to vote.
No, that was fun. Absolutely, yeah. First of all, Eric, great job putting this together. It was so cool to relive some of those moments. And I started out just by sharing to our alumni group, and then our current team. And then they started sharing it a little bit too. And like you said, Logan's dad, Don, he shared it. One of my friends who does a radio show shared that last second, the semifinal. It came down to literally the last seconds for us to capture that victory. It was in real time watching the clock. The clock had expired and we had lost. I sent out a message saying, I think we lost. It was within a 0.5%, but then the percentage caught up to the time, and we ended up sneaking out that victory.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, one of my first
exciting.
questions was if you were following along, because I was actually in a group chat with Ryan Norris and Chad Lowe, and when Twitter real time, it looked like you guys lost, and then 2 minutes later, you guys won by 9 votes. It was nuts. 844 votes, 877, by far the most of any matchup. So.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, one of my players in our group text said, "No, we won, coach." I'm like, "What?" And I had to look back and see that we had snuck it out at the end. So that was pretty neat. But back to the game itself in this story in Logan, it's such a memorable one. And Logan's such a great kid and a really good competitor. And part of the marketing I did was to write the story behind the story, because there was kind of a lot to go into that to make it such a cool moment. That team alone was just kind of, I don't want to call us underdogs, but on paper we didn't look like the biggest threat. That team was just full of ball players who were really coachable and really gritty, and that showed in the regional finals. We had to play 5 games in 2.5 days through rain delays. One of the games went to extra innings, and then we won it in the bottom of the ninth by scoring 5 runs to come back and beat Illinois State, just to even qualify for the World Series that year. So that was you could just see the attitude that this team had, and they were a really special group. And Logan was a big part of that. He was on D2. Actually, mentioning D2, you guys mentioned that game in Johnstown. I was actually sitting with you guys in the booth there for a while that day, that major rain delay, because our D2 was there at the World Series and we had just got eliminated. But yeah, that was a memorable one too. That was a battle. But so Logan was on D2 for 3 years and had a successful D2 career. He even threw a no-hitter the year before. which was pretty neat. And then he came up and he was excited for his opportunity on D1, and he couldn't find it. He just really struggled, and we were trying to tweak with his mechanics a little bit. And then finally, one of the things I wrote about is in his last chance to get into the a regular season game. I think it was one of our last series against CW Milwaukee, and it was the first inning. I think he walked like the first 4 hitters or something like that. And it was just his struggles were just kind of compounding. And I walked up to the mound and said, "Logan, there'll be better days. There'll be other opportunities." And he had a defeated look on his face that still breaks my heart. And him and I laugh about this now, but he goes, "But will there be, Coach?" And I said, "Yeah, there will." And I'm like, "Just go take a rest and then go down to the bullpen and keep throwing, keep working. We're going to need you at some point if we're going to make a deep run." So we find ourselves needing him in the 5th game of the section. I mean, up to this point, he's hardly logged it out in our season. And then we had to use him in the regional championship game in game 5 of that. And he came out and threw 5 pretty good innings. And you could really see something starting to click with him and his confidence building with each inning that he pitched. So little did Ryan Norris and the rest of you know, when we're facing Delaware in this battle, and they have one of the best offenses that I think I forgot what I wrote down, but I think it was they had 26 home runs between just their top 3 hitters or something like
they
that.
had 2 kids in the Derby.
In our team, yeah, and our entire team had 3 home runs for the whole year. So they were something. So they were someone we weren't scared of. We were ready for the opportunity, but we knew that we were going to need a really good pitching performance. And we had a couple arm injuries, and we weren't very deep with our pitching staff at that point. And it was kind of either dig into our starters that we knew that we'd need if we want. We were still playing to win the whole thing, and our faith had grown in Logan, and we knew that he was getting back to being his old self. So, I talked about it with one of our catchers and our shortstop, and said, "Hey, I think we should go back to Logan." They're like, "Yep, I agree." And we went back in with Logan, and he had one heck of a performance. Right in the first inning that he was throwing, he had a couple struggles just because his slider was so filthy that he was having a hard time keeping it on the plate. I mean, he was throwing inside, and it was breaking off the plate. So made an adjustment, turned it more into a slur, went over the top a little bit more, and then he was pretty much untouchable the rest of the way. Thank you. Like you said, no runs, 1 hit. It was just a really inspired performance, especially to come back the way he did after early struggles. Says a lot about his character.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sandy.
I was going to say, I remember that game. I think I might have been asleep in the press box, propped up against the wall, trying to stay awake because we'd been at the field so long. But I remember every inning that Logan walked back out there. I'm like, who is this kid? Someone said, "Oh, he was on D2 last year." I'm like, he looks like it. Like he looked like a kid.
He's like about he's about 150 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, 150 soaking wet, and that slider was wicked that day. And he just kept coming out of the dugout for another inning and another inning and another inning, and he kept doing the job. It was impressive. And then I remember when he came up to the press box to interview with Ryan Norris, and he walked in. It looked like a junior high kid walking in there, and I was like, "Wait, that's you from out there?" It's like, "Wow, man, way to pitch your cojones off." And it was impressive, absolutely.
Jeff, talk about. I actually wasn't down at that World Series, so I didn't get to see this game. But the game started at 11 p.m. Is that
like 11:30ish?
11:30. Didn't get done till 3.
Official start time was like 11:10 or 11:15, but something like that. Yeah.
Initially,
what was going through your mind as the coach? Getting your I think probably the original start time was 7 o'clock, so you're behind about 4 hours. What kind of things were you telling your guys? Did you stay at the field? Did you guys go back to the hotel? What were you guys doing? What was your point of view?
Yeah, we were pretty much at the field the entire day because the rain was just kind of starting and stopping and starting and stopping, and we wanted to make sure that we were there. I mean, obviously we were taking breaks and trying to stay out of the heat a little bit. Guys would go get some food and things like that, but it was kind of a waiting day, and we kept warming up and then getting tight and warming up and getting tight. So it was kind of it was an exhausting day, and it was really hot and humid. So it took a lot out of us and to stay mentally sharp and mentally ready. I mean, we were thrilled but exhausted when that game was over. We were very happy to have the next day off.
Yeah. I think we had to be back in the field at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
I
5 hours.
know. I felt bad for you guys.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for the memories. Thanks for joining us on the call today. Did you guys have anything else to add?
No, I was just going to say it was a lot of fun. You know,
It really was.
Looking back at your bracket, just to go through it one last time, you took down some giants. You beat Brian Dilley in the first round, MVP that year and home run derby champ, one of the all-time NCBA greats.
Christian's favorite player of all
Yes.
Yeah, and then you took down Kyle Gilbert, who arguably had one of the best pitching performances in World Series history. I think it was the year before in Tampa for Penn State. And then you guys took down Nick Venditti with ECU, had the walk-off at the World Series in 17, arguably one of the best moments. I feel like I'm saying that every time because every moment's
almost
so good.
undoubtedly the greatest game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you guys did take down some.
And then the next one, obviously, Fitzgerald with Penn State, their walk-off. And then you took down Superman himself, Cam Cole, who had one hell of a week. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking
and
at that,
it was
wow.
funny just looking at that and seeing that we're going against Penn State Nation and ECU. You guys have great programs and following, so we knew that was going to be a battle. And I'd be remiss to not mention our fans and our former players. Oh, it was so fun. They were texting and emailing, and they were just getting into it. And it was a neat moment for the program, especially without baseball this year, to give people such a cool distraction and celebrate what our program's been able to do, and that team in particular.
We got some leftover trophies in the office. We'll send you something.
I like it.
World Series champion banner. Sounds to you.
The 2020 MVP,
Yeah.
Jeff Block.
Scratch it up. Put some duct tape on it.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
Jeff,
guys.
thanks so much for
Yeah,
joining
it's good
us.
seeing you.
Keep up the memories, and hopefully we'll
Yeah.
see you at a ball field soon.
Absolutely. Great seeing you. Take it easy, guys.
See you, Coach.
See ya. All right, good stuff there. Great job, Eric,
Thank you.
putting
That
that
was a lot of
together.
fun.
And,
Yeah, good job, Eric.
And great job, Logan, August.
I
was
wasn't there.
awesome, too.
I recognize the name. I remember
Yeah,
that
It
name.
was a hell of a game.
Yeah, sorry I missed it.
It's a night I try to forget, but now I got to remember it. So it's
Coming home
good.
from Paducah.
All right, so
Anyway.
what else we got to talk about on the baseball side? We got a new team on board now, right?
Yes.
Got 3. Gustavus Adolphus College out of Minnesota, Harvard, and UMass Boston. So that's 3 new teams since the last show. And they join Alfred and Boston. So we got 5 new teams heading into the year thus far.
Thus far.
So-
Hopefully many more to come before
Yep.
we're done with that. And how about some housekeeping items on the NCBA?
Yeah, basically just to mirror the softball side of things. The big thing is your paperwork for next year. You guys want to take advantage of that credit that we're offering you guys, given the circumstances this past spring. So, yeah, get your paperwork in by 6:30. It's a hard deadline, and, if you guys need any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, hit me up, and we'll get that going for you.
And now we've also set the date for the rules meeting, right?
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit,
Yes,
Christian.
July 11th is the official date for the rules meeting. We will have the rules committee meet here in Pittsburgh. I know Ryan will be joining us via Zoom virtually, but we'll have everybody in Pittsburgh discussing rule changes that you as a team, as a member team, can propose. So if you are a Division I team, you're going to want to reach out to Division I Rules Committee Rep Joe Karachi. See his email up there. If you're a D2 team, you're going to reach out to Chad Lowe. And if you're a Division III team, you're reaching out to the Director of Division III Baseball Operations, Tom McManus, at his email right there. So simply, if you have a rule that you want added, amended, deleted, give that specific rep your proposal, and it'll be brought up at the meeting. We might not vote on all of the proposals, but we will certainly discuss every single item that is brought up, and that'll at the conclusion of that meeting we'll have what rules are going into the rule book for 2021. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and those emails will be going out next week for you guys. Just a short little blurb on everything Christian just said, so you guys can act accordingly.
But
from
yeah,
there.
make sure your voice is heard. We say that a lot, but in the middle of the season, if you have a complaint about a rule, that's every year we have this rules meeting for you guys to determine rules of the rule book. So make sure that your voice is heard and reach out to your rules rep.
And lastly, we've determined there's not going to be an all-American teams this year in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough of the season was played. but we are going to bring out, put together be forming an all-decade team, right, Eric?
Yes, so this bracket obviously is over now, so we can now look forward to this all-decade team, which you guys did from 2000 to 2010. So now we'll go ahead in 2010, 2019. We'll take all the All-Americans from the past and sit down and argue it out, see who's got the best of the all-decade. So.
All right, so look for that to be coming in the next few months. All right, I think that's going to be it for our baseball segment. We're going to head to a break before we get back, and we'll talk into some football and basketball action.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the official uniform, apparel, and equipment sponsor of the NCBA and NCSA. All member teams receive up to 45% off on all Rawlings orders. All uniforms and apparel options are fully customizable. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Justin Rickert at justin.rickert@coldclubsports.com or call at 412-321-8440, extension 111.
All right, welcome back, and we're going to jump onto the NCFA segment. I welcome to the set now. We welcome to the set.
Yeah.
Joe Schaefer,
Glad to be
Director
on,
of
guys.
Football Operations. What's up, man?
Not much.
Shafe.
Not much.
You got your chair jacked up?
No, he's
shorter.
6'10".
I could shrink it. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a
All
little better,
right.
huh?
Thank you.
He's a giant on camera. Look at
Tired talking to your belly button.
Yeah.
Joe, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing
All
good.
right. All right. Hey, talk to us about updates in the football league, in the football world.
Sure. Last time we were on Suite 301, the rule book was not officially posted onto the website yet. It is now up there. It has a little bit of more of a descriptive, detailed, not so much a rule, but a description of the current clock rules for the NCFA. We ran into some issues in the past with interpretation of what the NCAA rules are and the differences between NCAA and high school, along with what our rules are. So we put a couple lines in there of a little bit more of a description of what the clock management rules will be. Just teams that can use that as a reference if they want to hand it to the referees prior to the game. But that's the only real big addition. No big rules changes or anything coming from the league meeting. Other than that, we're full force getting ready to get the 4 teams or potentially 6 teams in the fall kickoff this upcoming October. The date is set for October 10th. We are going back to the Pitt Sports Dome, the Campus University of Pittsburgh. As of right now, we have 3 official teams, Pitt obviously being one, and then Oakland and Sacred Heart have submitted their paperwork. We do have a verbal commitment from a 4th. We're just waiting on that paperwork to come in. But like I've told all of the teams, we're very much interested in looking into expanding this event to have 6 teams participate and have 3 games that day. So that is the goal right now. So teams that are out there listening, that are tuned in, in the years past we've done 4 teams. This year, we have two potential vacancies open for you guys to join and participate. And thanks, Andy. Participate in the event itself. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
All right.
Been looking at the wrong camera setup. It's been a while since I've been.
The red
here.
lights
Yeah,
aren't working
Suite
right now.
301.
We're used to doing this from our houses.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so that's the fall kickoff. Yeah, we're looking for some more teams, and I think one of the things that was interesting that you had conducted last week, one of our teams popped up and said, "Hey, have you heard from anybody? Is anybody worried that they're not going to be able to play this fall because of the COVID stuff?" And you went and reached out to all the teams, all 26, teams, and everybody came back with a thumbs up. As of right now, we're good to go. Let's play football.
Yeah, as of June 1st, that's what the report was. None of the teams have been limited by the university. No limitations have been put forth yet by those schools. They're all 100% good to go right now, and we hope that trend continues into the end of this month and into July and in August. I know there are some schools out there that are paying attention closely to what the NCAA and the NAIA does as far as their plans for the fall. But, just be aware that, we do not abide by those governing bodies. We are our own governing body. And right now we're focused on starting the season off at 100%, no limitations or anything. So
I was under the impression the NAIA was looking to see what we were going to do.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think, that wouldn't come as a surprise to me if that was the case.
Well, hey, on the housekeeping side of things, what should football teams be looking forward to right now? I mean, what's next on the plate for them?
Yep. So today, the survey link for your your team footballs was sent out. It's the quick 5-minute survey that teams have to fill out, during this time of the year. You guys just list your name, your school, your university name, and then you guys give us an address to where we ship the footballs to. In the email, it's detailed, it's highlighted, it's written in red font that it's extremely important for the teams to provide us with an on-campus address. In the past, between all of the products that Wilson provides, all of our leagues, a lot of the teams will submit addresses like off-campus addresses where you're an apartment and it's an incorrect address and they can't deliver it. When they can't deliver your order, they send it back to Wilson, and then we're stuck paying to send it back out to you guys. We've had that issue pop up years past. Luckily, I think last year the teams were really good with submitting on-campus addresses. Same thing this year. For our 3 new teams, I recommend talking to your club sports department, see if we can just ship your footballs to that club sports address. But everyone else that's been in the league now for a while, you guys should be well aware of that issue. So that's the big thing. Those just went out today. Something else to be looking forward to is the league dues invoice. Hopefully that can be sent out sometime this week. If not, it'll be first thing next week. You'll get that from Intuit QuickBooks. Once again, same thing as every year. For the 3 new teams that aren't familiar with that process, you'll get a like a link basically. It's
you get a link in an email from QuickBooks that gives you an opportunity to view your invoice, pay your invoice online. So some people just want to view the invoice, print it, and submit it over to their accounting department.
Correct, and it's by far the most efficient way of doing it. Obviously, we understand if you have to pay it off by check, then that's fine. But those invoices will be sent out hopefully by the end of this week, the latest early next week. Other than that, just once again, just want to reiterate it again that the fall kickoff, we still have 2 vacancies that we're trying to fill, potentially 3 vacancies. It's first come, first serve. Whoever submits their paperwork and commits to it, you'll get a spot. And so we're excited about that and getting that going.
All right. Well, good stuff. We look forward to the backbone of Colt Club Sports.
That's right,
NCFA,
That's right.
Getting us off the ground here shortly.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate having you on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
We're a little rusty in here.
Yeah, we are a little rusty. All right, let's get on to some men's basketball stuff.
Word.
Smids, that's right up your alley, right?
I think so.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, so we have, since the last time we talked, the voting ballot was out to the teams, but it hadn't closed yet, so teams were currently voting on it. Since that time, the voting has closed, and we have the rule changes into the rule book. You can see them up there. The big one being switching from a 3-game conference series to a 2-game conference series, which I'm excited about, and I think a lot of the teams were obviously excited about getting, from a 3-game series to a 2-game series, which in most cases you could just play those 2 games in one day and get out of town, which is obviously going to save the team some money. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
One of the other things that because we experimented with this with the women's league
Yes.
this past year, and it was successful. And one of the other things where I think teams will take advantage is they can combine 2 road trips in one weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go over here, you hit one team, play them twice Saturday. Over here, hit somebody
Yep.
Sunday, and now you're back to campus. You've knocked out 2 conference series
Yeah.
in one weekend.
So it definitely has its perks, and like you said, I'm excited to worked well on the women's side. Looking forward to see how it does on the men's side. But we also got rid of the removal process. You can remove up to 3 players from your roster from the fall going into the spring season. There were some limitations on how or what players could be removed. We got rid of those limitations, so you can remove a player for any reason. We also granted that you could play your 5 seasons of intercollegiate basketball within an unlimited number of calendar years, so it doesn't have to be within that 6-year window, which will help some players out that are maybe in some post-grad programs. And then the last 2, we had eligibility since this past year with COVID. We had a lot of seniors and people reach out to us about eligibility and maybe getting an extra year granted to them. We will be doing that on a case-by-case basis. So if you feel that if you were up, there's some what's the word I'm looking for? You have to meet some certain requirements, but you have to be a senior and you have to be on a team that was either in postseason consideration or still in the running for the postseason or had already clinched a postseason spot. And if you fall into those categories, you can appeal for an extra year of eligibility. But we'll go over those case-by-case basis. And then lastly, official qualifications, referee qualifications. That can now be an off-court protest where you can do it after the games. So those are the big ones. They're in the rule book. The rule books are actually released online, so you can get those rule books with all the updated rules currently online in the documents section as well as in the headlines and I believe something in the carousel. So lots of places for you to download those, so make sure that you get them, save them for your reference heading into next year.
All right, good stuff. Well, let's invite Director of Basketball Development, Alec Verhoff, to the set. And Alec, you've been doing some recruiting out there. You got another new men's basketball team coming on board. Talk to us about them.
I do, yeah. So I actually got the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats to join on. I'm excited to have them. I've been talking with them for a little while. So, COVID kind of slowed some things down, but they are officially in the league now. So we're excited to have them.
Excellent. And they've joined App State, Mercy College, College in New Jersey, and American University as our new additions so far for this year.
Yep.
And that's early. I mean, we're still
5 teams is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At this point in time. So we'll see what the summer holds as well. Anything on the housekeeping side for you?
Yeah, I think just echoing what baseball, softball had to say. We will be extending the deadline for the credits to June 30th. Again, that is a extremely hard deadline. So if it's July 1st, you're not going to get that credit. So make sure that you get your LPA in.
If you send us an LPA without an advisor signature on June 30th, it's not going to happen.
Yes, it has to be a fully executed league participation agreement. So yeah, if you want to make sure you want to get that credit, if you have any questions about how much your credit is, please reach out to me directly and I can give you that information. But yeah, make sure you take advantage of that and get your paperwork in by June 30th.
All right, good stuff. Now, Alec, on the women's side, you also had the league meeting and comprised the voting. Why don't you talk to us about the rules and what happened over there on the women's side?
Yeah, so just like with men's basketball, the rules are online now. They're on the website. You can find them in the Documents tab, or you can find them in a carousel image on the main page. But yeah, so we had, I believe we had 6 total rules that were on the voting ballot. All of them passed. I think the big ones were, as Christian was saying, both on men's and women's. But you can remove 3 players from your roster for any reason. No more limitations. I know I had a lot of teams ask me questions about that and come to me. So I think a lot of teams are going to be happy about that one. And there's no more of the 6-year eligibility clock, so the teams can play their 5 years of eligibility any period of time. So those are the 2 ones that I thought were really big. You can see on your screen the rest of them. There's the protest regarding officials being qualified can be done off the court. They used to only be an on-court protest, so you can do that after the games now. You don't have to do it. And we're also switching to 2 20-minute halves instead of 4 10-minute quarters, which the 10-minute quarters is something the NCAA does, and we're moving away from that.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting when the girls at the meeting, I think it originally started with a proposal of let's go to a running clock, and someone said, let's not do running clock, let's just go to halves instead of quarters.
Right.
And I think that's a great idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised. What's the reasoning behind the NCAA women's being different than men's? I mean, you're still playing a 40-minute game. I don't know.
And I think that's what a lot of them are used to just from intramurals too as well. I know they play 2 20-minute halves. So I think that's, they're just used to it at this point. So
there we go. Well, now it's they'll get to play it in the NCBBA-W to come this fall. Housekeeping on your end, I assume same thing with the extended deadline.
Yep, same thing. LPA June 30th, as everybody said, hard deadline. Please get it in by then. It's really the big thing to note right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up not only just our women's basketball segment, but our show for this month. Hey, it's great being on set with you guys.
It is.
Yeah, it's great being outside the house. Hopefully everybody tuning in at home or wherever you are doing well and getting to experience some relief from everything going on here in the world. But I think the future's looking bright on our end, and hopefully it is in your neck of the woods as well. So that's going to be our show for this month. Thank you for tuning in to Suite 301. And don't forget to always follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
The next episode will be Tuesday, July 14th at 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook Live. Join us to catch up on everything that's happening in the world of Colt Club sports.
All right, sounds good. Well, before we say adieu, what's that thing we got to say?
It's a game. Have fun.